Here's why this is a bullshit narrative perpetuated by abusers. Let's start with what's true about it so we can give this little guy his credit. Everyone has narcissism. Is that true? Of course it is. Narcissism is a regard for oneself. You need it. Everyone can display a narcissistic trait or two from time to time. Of course. But here's why this narrative is misleading. A sprinkle is not a storm. Having a trait or two does not make someone have narcissistic personality disorder. The people that victims and survivors are talking about when they call them a narcissist are people who display long-term patterns of abuse, grandiosity, lack of accountability, lack of empathy. An example would be someone who likes compliments isn't a narcissist, but somebody who cannot function without the admiration and validation from those around them does. So when people say that everyone displays narcissistic behavior, it devalues the emotional and psychological abuse that victims face. It trivializes the struggles of victims. It makes it harder for people to recognize the severity of your situation. This feels like this person is just saying, narcissism is the norm. Everyone has it. So you've never been abused by a narcissist, and that's obvious, isn't it? It's dangerous to say this, but I kind of think that was his point. Saying this trivializes abuse, which is what abusers want. An abuser wants you to think everyone's a narcissist, not just me. And then that keeps you in the cycle. It keeps you questioning your reality. The person who left this comment might be a narcissist, but they absolutely might not be. But one thing that I would bet, he's been called one, and he's mad about it. I'm in a mood. Let's go deeper. Have you ever heard of poisoning the well? This is when the speaker attempts to discredit any opposing views before they're even presented. An example of that would be, everyone displays narcissistic behavior, and if you don't agree with me, you're a selfish POS. But this also employs a common logical fallacy. Now, I've made videos before on how logical fallacies are often made by narcissists, but it's not exclusive to narcissists. It's also made by people who lack critical thinking skills. This is an ad hominem attack. So instead of addressing the comment itself, he attacks anyone who disagrees with him. His goal here is to weaken any opposing views. And the reason someone would do that is because they know that the argument that they've made in and of itself doesn't stand. Now, if you were in a relationship with this guy, and I imagine that no one is, it would also be emotional blackmail. He's setting up the situation where if you disagree with him, he'll ridicule you. And that would work if he had any power, but he doesn't.